Ladies and gentlemen, most people believe that discipline is about forcing yourself to do what you hate until it becomes a habit. But the truth is subtler and far more liberating. The problem isn't that you're lazy. It's that your mind has never learned to stand still, to look time in the face and see its real value. Every passing moment is a seed, a thought, a decision. Most people scatter these seeds carelessly into barren soil. Distractions, cheap pleasures, mindless scrolling. And then they wonder why their lives do not bloom. Mental discipline begins when you stop seeing time as hours on a clock and start seeing it as a currency you invest. You wouldn't throw money into the ocean, yet you throw hours into the abyss of endless distractions every day. Wealthy minds guard their time like gold. This discipline is not about harshness, it's about clarity. The undisciplined mind is chaotic, a room with 1,000 noisy guests talking over each other. To build discipline, you must silence this inner crowd. Sit in stillness each day. Listen to your thoughts as if you are outside them. Observe how often they drag you toward cheap comfort. Catch them. Question them. Think like a gardener. No great tree grows overnight. Patience is discipline's twin. Every small ritual, waking early, reading, planning your day before the day begins, is a watering can for your mind. Small drops, repeated daily, build forests of wealth within you. Most people flee discomfort, yet discomfort is the doorway to mastery. Discipline does not live in pleasure. It lives in resisting the urge to escape. Learn to sit in boredom. Sit in temptation and watch it pass. Like a muscle lifting weight, your mind grows strong when you hold steady against what wants to pull you back. Time fiercely. Who has access to you? Who interrupts you? What steals your minutes? The disciplined mind knows these questions are not trivial. They are life and death for your dreams. And finally, stay here. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, here. Discipline is not about forcing your mind to march in chains, but about teaching it to stand still, fully awake in this moment. Presence sharpens your decisions. Clear decisions create right actions. Right actions compound into true wealth, not just in money, but in freedom, mastery, and a life you chose, not one you stumbled into. The secret is simple. Though it will cost you your old self, value your time, master your thoughts, love discomfort, protect your attention, and be unwaveringly here. In this garden, mental discipline grows, and with it, the quiet, unstoppable success you've been seeking all along. The illusion of instant gratification is perhaps the most cunning trap the mind has ever set for itself. We live in an age where almost anything can arrive at our doorstep with a swipe, a tap, a click. Food, entertainment, validation. They come faster than our thoughts can catch up. Yet in this flood of immediacy, we have quietly lost the art of waiting, the power of building, and the muscle of discipline that only time can forge. Think about how the mind works when it seeks the path of least resistance. It whispers, "Why endure the long road when there's a shortcut?" It tempts you with an easier pleasure, the cheap dopamine of a notification, the endless scroll that requires nothing from you but your attention. But each time you surrender to this instant fix, you trade a piece of your future wealth, not just financial, but mental, emotional, spiritual. because the currency you spend isn't money. It's time, energy, focus. The illusion is so convincing because it feels harmless. One video, one bite, one break. What's the harm? But one turns into 10. 10 turns into a habit. And habits build the architecture of your entire life. There's no single catastrophic moment where discipline is lost. It dissolves quietly, stolen by 1,000 tiny moments of surrender. And the spoke, the huge movement, the huge ship, it's worth asking. Why does the mind crave the easy path? Because it's wired for survival, not success. In ancient times, the mind rewarded us for conserving energy. It protected us from unnecessary struggle. But in the modern world, this same ancient programming works against us. What once helped us survive now keeps us small, restless, addicted to shortcuts that offer no real nourishment. True discipline begins when you see through this illusion, when you feel the pull toward instant gratification, that itch to check your phone, to abandon your work for something easier. Notice it like a passing cloud. Witness how strong the pull is, how the mind fabricates reasons. Just 5 minutes, just one look, just this once. And ask yourself, what am I really trading here? Every moment you resist the pull is a seed of discipline planted deep in your mind. At first, this resistance feels uncomfortable, almost unnatural, but over time, it becomes your strength. Like a muscle that tears and rebuilds stronger, your willpower grows each time you say no to the quick fix and yes to the long game. Look at anyone who has built true success, not the hollow image of wealth that burns out overnight, but real, rooted success that endures. You will find the same pattern. These people learned to delay gratification. They trained their minds to find satisfaction not in what comes easy, but in what grows slowly. They found joy in the quiet grind, the unseen hours, the lonely moments where no praise comes, but something inside them strengthens. This is the secret few want to hear, because it demands you become different from the herd. Society thrives on your impulsiveness. Businesses profit when you cannot wait. Markets flourish when your attention is scattered. To step out of this system is to reclaim the only true freedom, mastery of your own mind. The next time you feel boredom creeping in, don't run. Sit with it. Taste it fully. See how your mind tries to escape into a screen or a snack. Watch it try to trick you into thinking you are missing something urgent, that you need to do something else right now. In that moment, remind yourself, this is the test. This is where discipline is forged, in the small, ordinary moments when you decide not to flee, but to stay. The mind will fight you at first. It will tell you discipline is unnatural, too harsh, unnecessary. But the truth is that discipline is not about punishment. It's about liberation. Each time you choose patience over impulse, you reclaim a piece of yourself that was scattered by distractions. You take back your hours from the claws of cheap pleasure and invest them in building something real. This is how you shift from living like a consumer of fleeting moments to becoming a creator of lasting wealth. Wealth not just in money, but in clarity, purpose, mastery, and slowly the illusion of instant gratification loses its power. It becomes like a child's trick you've outgrown, because you begin to see what it truly costs: your future, your dreams, your one and only life, traded away for a moment's comfort that leaves you emptier than before. And you realize that waiting, enduring, building slowly, these are not punishments but gifts. The mind that masters these gifts becomes unshakable. It learns to bend time to its will. It learns that real success has no shortcut, and it no longer wants one. Most people live under the quiet tyranny of the clock. Hours chase them, deadlines loom over them. Minutes slip away unnoticed. And in this silent rush, they never stop to question the story they've been told about time. They see it as something to manage, to kill, to waste, or to save, as if it were just numbers ticking away on a screen. But this is the first lie that destroys mental discipline and keeps success forever out of reach. Time is not a clock. It is a currency, and every single day you are spending it, whether you know it or not. You do not earn more time. You only spend what you're given. Some spend it like beggars, throwing coins at anything that catches their eye. Distractions, gossip, empty tasks done out of habit or fear of stillness. Others spend it like investors. They ask, where will this hour grow? What return will this minute bring? They understand something most people never do, that wealth is not built by luck or magic, but by how wisely you place your moments into the soil of your life. This shift, seeing time as currency, transforms everything. It turns every choice into an investment decision. Should you spend this hour scrolling through strangers' lives, or use it to strengthen your body, sharpen your mind, deepen your skills? Should you spend this evening numbing your exhaustion with mindless entertainment, or invest it in rest that actually restores you? When you see time for what it truly is, your most valuable asset, you stop letting other people spend it for you. You begin to say no more often. You guard your mornings. You cut out the meetings that lead nowhere, the conversations that drain you, the mindless obligations that once made you feel important but never moved you forward. This is not about becoming cold or rigid. It is about becoming clear. Discipline is not a prison you lock yourself in. It is a fortress you build around your most precious resource. When you spend time consciously, you begin to notice how much of it you used to throw away without a second thought. You start to see how the world is built to harvest your minutes. The ads, the notifications, the endless feeds, designed to hold you hostage in small, forgettable moments that steal hours you will never get back. A disciplined mind watches its time like a farmer watches the sky. It knows that a day wasted cannot be reclaimed tomorrow. It knows that wealth grows not in the bursts of frantic effort, but in the steady, patient compounding of intentional hours. 1 hour used with purpose every day is worth more than 100 scattered across trivial tasks that feel like work, but build nothing lasting. Consider the difference between spending time and investing it. A person who invests an hour learning a new skill plants seeds that may feed them for a lifetime. A person who invests 30 minutes in silence each day learns to hear their own thoughts more clearly than the noise of the world. This mental clarity alone is worth more than any secret productivity hack you will ever find. Those who master their time also master their mind. And in mastering the mind, they discover that real success is less about doing more and more about doing less, but with full awareness. They choose what deserves their hours. They measure each task, each commitment, against the question, does this multiply my time or steal it? You might think this sounds extreme, but look around you. Look at the people who drift through years on autopilot. They keep busy, but they build nothing. They fill calendars with things that make them feel needed, but keep them exhausted and hollow. This is the price of seeing time as something to endure, rather than something to grow. If you wish to build mental discipline that leads to true wealth, begin here. Count your minutes as you would count your money. Spend them where they return something of value: knowledge, health, mastery, deeper relationships, inner peace. Let this mindset guide you like a compass. Each moment you invest wisely multiplies. Your skills grow sharper. Your thinking deepens. Your choices align with your purpose instead of your impulses. And slowly a wealth that no one can steal from you begins to rise within you. The wealth of a disciplined mind, clear intentions, and a life lived by design, not by default. When you wake tomorrow, you will be given another deposit of hours. They are already yours. How you spend them will decide who you become. So do not ask how much time you have left. Ask only this: what will I invest in today that will make tomorrow richer, clearer, freer? The clock does not own you. The currency of time is yours to spend. Spend it like someone who understands its true worth. Think of a garden, a patch of bare earth, silent, unassuming, yet holding within it a hidden promise. This is what your mind is when you begin your journey toward mental discipline and lasting wealth. A quiet piece of land, waiting for you to decide what will grow there and what will not. Most people never tend to this inner garden. They scatter a few seeds and walk away, hoping that by some stroke of luck, abundance will appear. But true wealth does not work this way. It demands the steady hand of a patient gardener, someone who understands that growth happens slowly, often invisibly, and always with care. When you think like a gardener, you see that discipline is not about brute force or rigid schedules. It is about daily cultivation, a rhythm, an intimacy with your own thoughts and habits. You do not plant a tree and expect fruit overnight. You do not sow a field and then stand over it shouting at the seeds to grow faster. You nurture them. You protect them from pests, weeds, and storms. You give them time, water, sunlight, and your trust that nature does its work in silence. Your mind is the same. Every good thought, every focused hour, every moment you resist distraction, these are seeds planted in the soil of your future. At first, it seems like nothing is happening. You sit down to read instead of scroll, and the world does not applaud you. You wake early to plan your day, and there is no instant reward. But the wise gardener knows real growth is hidden. The roots strengthen long before the first sprout breaks the surface. Many abandon their gardens too soon. They expect wealth to appear because they worked hard for a few days or stayed disciplined for a week. But the garden laughs at such impatience. It gives its gifts only to those who stay, who keep tending the soil through dry seasons and storms. In the same way, your mind will resist you at first. You will feel bored, restless, tempted to quit. You may think your effort is pointless because you see no immediate result. This is the test and the trap. Most people fail here because they cannot bear the quiet waiting. Yet look at any orchard, heavy with fruit, any ancient tree standing tall through decades. That is the reward for the gardener who did not rush the process. They understood the greatest wealth is not the fruit itself, but the discipline they cultivated to grow it. The habits you plant today, watered daily, shape the forest you walk in tomorrow. Wealth built slowly is wealth that lasts. Fast money, fast fame, fast comfort. These are weeds. They grow quickly, look impressive for a season, but they choke the soil, leaving it barren and exhausted. The disciplined mind uproots these weeds daily. It asks, what thought steals my focus? What habit suffocates my growth? What easy pleasure distracts me from what truly matters? And it removes them over and over, with the quiet persistence of a gardener pulling up weeds at dawn. To think like a gardener is also to accept imperfection. Not every seed will sprout. Not every day will be productive. There will be moments when storms come, crises, failures, losses, and all your careful tending seems for nothing. But the gardener knows that beneath the surface, the roots are strong. Discipline is what holds you steady when nothing seems to go your way. It is what makes you return to the garden tomorrow, ready to begin again. The real secret is that tending your inner garden changes you far more than it changes the world outside. You learn patience. You learn faith in the unseen. You learn to love effort for its own sake, to find peace in the daily work, rather than clinging to the reward. And slowly a quiet wealth grows within you, the knowledge that you can trust yourself to stay the course, to keep watering the seeds you have planted. People search for secrets to success in books, podcasts, and quick hacks. But the truth is simple and old as time. You reap what you sow, but only if you stay to harvest it. Mental discipline is not a harsh rule you impose on yourself. It is a gentle agreement between you and the soil of your mind. You promise to keep showing up, to keep pulling weeds, to keep watering the dreams that matter most. And in return, life promises you this. In time, in patience, in silence, the garden will bloom. Silencing the inner noise is perhaps the greatest challenge for anyone who seeks to build true mental discipline. The outside world is noisy enough. News, notifications, endless chatter. But the real riot is not out there. It is inside your own head. A constant stream of half-formed thoughts, worries, memories, and imagined futures that tug you in 1,000 directions at once. To master your life, you must first learn to quiet this endless monologue. Until you do, discipline remains a struggle, because a mind in chaos cannot hold steady to anything for long. Think for a moment about how much of your daily exhaustion comes not from doing hard things, but from carrying the weight of uncontrolled thoughts. You wake up, and before your feet touch the floor, your mind is already crowded. The mistake you made yesterday, the argument you replay, the fear about tomorrow, the petty distraction buzzing for your attention. This noise is subtle but relentless. It eats away your focus, your clarity, your will to do what matters most. The tragedy is that most people never question this noise. They think it is normal, just part of being alive in a busy world. So they try to discipline themselves on the surface, forcing routines, repeating mantras, pushing themselves harder, without realizing that the real drain on their energy is not the work, but the mental static that hums constantly underneath it. To silence this inner noise is not to fight it with more noise. It is not about yelling at your mind to be quiet. It is about creating spaces in your day where the noise is seen for what it is. Just thoughts, just passing clouds that drift by when you stop chasing them. This is why stillness is so powerful. Not the forced stillness of doing nothing while your mind screams louder, but the gentle stillness of observation. Sit for 5 minutes and simply watch what your mind does when you are not distracting it. You will see how quickly it jumps from one thought to the next, how it invents problems to solve, stories to tell, fears to feed. In this seeing, something changes. You begin to understand that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who notices them. A simple shift is the foundation of mental discipline. The undisciplined mind reacts to every thought as if it were true and urgent. The disciplined mind learns to pause, to ask, is this thought useful? Is it real? Does it serve what I want to build? Most of the time the answer is no. The noise loses its power when you stop believing every word it shouts. In this silence you discover a hidden reserve of energy. The energy you once spent worrying, replaying the past, fantasizing about the future, now it is freed up to focus, to act, to create. Clarity returns, like a pool of water settling after a storm. People often underestimate how much the simple practice of daily silence, a few minutes in the morning, a pause before you speak, a breath before you react, can transform their life. But those who commit to this practice discover that it is not about withdrawing from the world. It is about engaging with it fully, with a mind that is calm enough to choose its responses instead of reacting blindly. Noise loves to feed on your fear of stillness. It whispers that you must always be thinking, planning, worrying, or you will fall behind. But watch closely. The most successful disciplined minds are not frantic. They move with quiet confidence because they trust their own inner stillness. They know that most problems are created by the mind and can be dissolved by the mind too, if given enough space to settle. The mind. They prime, they prep, they prune, they press to a point, they drag. It is when the sun rises that it rises. It is when the sun sets. Silencing the noise is not a one-time act. It is a daily tending, like sweeping a room that naturally gathers dust. Each day you sit in stillness, you sweep out the clutter, you return to your work with a mind that is clean and focused. Over time, the noise loses its grip. It still appears. It always will, but it no longer commands you. You are no longer coerced, but it no longer commands you. And here lies the quiet magic. Once the inner noise softens, discipline becomes less about fighting yourself and more about flowing with yourself. You no longer battle distraction with sheer willpower. You simply see it for what it is, a passing temptation, and return calmly to what matters. The next time you feel overwhelmed, remember this: it is not the world that is too much, but your mind that is too noisy. Sit with it. Watch it. Let the thoughts come and go without clinging to them. In that silence, you will find not emptiness but freedom. And in that freedom, the roots of a discipline strong enough to build the life you truly want. Small rituals hold a power that most people overlook. We live in a world obsessed with massive action, with big wins and overnight success stories. Yet the truth is that nothing lasting is ever built in a single moment of grand effort. Real discipline, the kind that quietly shapes a person's entire life, is grown in the unnoticed corners of ordinary days, in the small, simple rituals that become anchors for the mind and guardians of your time. When people think of discipline, they imagine strict schedules and rigid rules, a kind of daily prison they must force themselves into. But true discipline is far more subtle and kind. It does not shout or slam its fist on the table. It whispers through the small acts you repeat until they shape your character from the inside out. Consider the power of a simple morning ritual. You rise before the world demands anything from you. You sit with your thoughts, or perhaps you write them down. You plan your day not as a frantic list of tasks, but as a quiet agreement with yourself. This is what matters. This is where I will place my attention. This ritual might take 10 minutes, yet it can transform your entire day. Or think of the ritual of reading a few pages of a good book each night before sleep. The undisciplined mind reaches for a screen, floods itself with noise, until it drifts into restless dreams. The disciplined mind feeds itself carefully, one page at a time, planting seeds of new ideas that grow while you sleep. A ritual does not have to be dramatic to be powerful. Stretching for 5 minutes after waking, drinking a glass of water before your coffee, putting your phone in another room while you work. These small acts train your mind to obey your intentions rather than your impulses. Each ritual is like a tiny lever that shifts the machinery of your habits in your favor. Why do these small rituals matter so much? Because your mind is shaped by what you do repeatedly, not by what you do occasionally. Motivation is fleeting. You can feel fired up one day and empty the next. But a ritual does not care how you feel. It invites you back to the same action again and again until that action becomes part of you. People often look for big changes, dramatic gestures that prove they are serious about success. But big changes crumble when they have no foundation beneath them. Small rituals are that foundation. They are easy to keep. They do not exhaust your willpower because they do not demand it all at once. Instead, they train your willpower slowly, like a muscle, building your strength without you even noticing. This is how mental discipline grows, not as a sudden breakthrough, but as a quiet compounding of tiny actions. Over days, weeks, months, these actions create a mind that trusts itself. Each time you keep a small promise to yourself, I will write 1 page, I will sit in silence for 5 minutes, I will walk for 10 minutes outside, you build a reputation with your own mind. You prove that you are someone who follows through. This self-trust is priceless. It means that when bigger challenges come, you do not crumble. You have trained for them in the smallest moments. You have rehearsed showing up no matter how you feel. You have practiced choosing intention over impulse so many times that when the stakes are higher, you know exactly what to do. Some will say this sounds too simple, but simplicity is its genius. The greatest rituals are so small they slip beneath your excuses. You cannot say you don't have time to stretch for 2 minutes or read a single page. There is no room for your mind's endless negotiation. I'll do it later, maybe tomorrow. Small rituals leave no space for tomorrow. They invite you to act now, in the smallest possible way, and that act changes you. Over time, these rituals become invisible yet unshakable. They form the spine of your days. They remind you gently but firmly who you are and what you are building. And the beauty is that anyone can begin this practice at any moment. You do not need perfect conditions or special tools. You just need to choose one small thing that aligns with the person you want to become, and do it again and again until it becomes part of you. Small rituals hold giant power. They are not dramatic, but they are unstoppable. They build the mental discipline that holds you steady when life grows chaotic. They shape your days so your days can shape your life. And in the quiet repetition of these simple acts, you will find a wealth that no distraction can steal. The wealth of a mind that trusts itself, day after ordinary day. Discomfort is the doorway most people spend their entire lives trying to avoid. They tiptoe around it, build routines to protect themselves from it, and chase comforts that promise relief from even the slightest sting of boredom, frustration, or uncertainty. Yet hidden behind this doorway is the very thing they seek: growth, freedom, and the kind of unshakable mental discipline that can build lasting wealth in any area of life. We have been conditioned to believe that ease is success, that if something feels difficult or uncomfortable, it must be wrong. Modern life has made it worse. We have surrounded ourselves with conveniences that keep discomfort at arm's length. A click brings food to your door. A swipe delivers entertainment. A tap opens endless distraction to drown out the unsettling feeling of being alone with your thoughts. But here's the truth most never want to accept. The path to mastery always passes through discomfort. Every person who has built something extraordinary, a body of work, a business, a skill, did so by stepping willingly into boredom, frustration, awkwardness, and struggle. Discomfort is not an obstacle. It is the forge that shapes discipline into something real. Think about how the mind rebels when asked to do something hard, but necessary. Sit still for 10 minutes and it screams for distraction. Write one honest page and it invents 100 excuses. Go to the gym and it whispers, maybe tomorrow. This rebellion is not proof that something is wrong. It is proof that you are brushing up against your edge, and your edge is where you grow. Most people misunderstand this signal. They feel resistance and assume they should stop. They think this feels uncomfortable, so it must not be for me. But the disciplined mind learns to hear resistance as a signal to stay, not flee, to lean in a little deeper, to hold steady when everything inside wants to run. In this simple act, remaining where it is uncomfortable, you begin to train your mind in a way that no motivational speech or life hack ever could. You teach yourself that you are bigger than your impulses. You discover that the discomfort you fear is rarely as painful as the fear itself. It rises, it peaks, and then it passes. And on the other side, you stand a little taller, a little freer. Consider boredom, the quiet cousin of discomfort. We do everything to escape it. We scroll, binge, swipe, fill every silence with noise. But boredom is not your enemy. It is a blank canvas, a clear space where your deepest ideas and insights wait. If you can sit through boredom without reaching for an easy escape, you train your mind to wait with you, to follow through, to dig deeper when the surface offers nothing new. This is where discipline is sharpened. Not when you feel inspired and eager, but when you feel restless and tempted to quit. The great violinist does not master their craft in moments of passion alone. They master it during the long hours, when the same passage must be played again and again. Fingers aching, mind wandering, boredom pressing in like a fog. The athlete grows strong, not only in the glory of the game, but in the lonely training sessions when no one is watching, when every muscle protests. If you wish to build this same discipline, you must stop treating discomfort as a signal to retreat. You must learn to make friends with it, to see it as your teacher, your guide, your test. Each time you choose discomfort over ease, you train your mind to trust you. You prove to yourself that you can hold steady when the easy path calls your name. This does not mean you must live in constant struggle. Discomfort is not about punishing yourself. It is about stepping into the spaces where real change happens. It is sitting with the hard conversation instead of avoiding it. It is staying with your work 5 minutes longer when you want to give up. It is choosing silence over mindless noise, focus over distraction, truth over the comfort of denial. At first, this practice feels unnatural. You may wonder why you would willingly choose the harder path. But slowly the mind changes shape. It begins to crave the challenge because it knows that on the other side lies something ease can never give. The pride of doing what is difficult. The quiet confidence that you can face anything. The wealth that comes from mastering yourself. When you learn to lean into discomfort, you unlock a door that most people will never even find. you discover that beyond the temporary sting lies freedom. Freedom from fear of boredom, fear of failure, fear of struggle. You discover that discipline is not a burden but a gift, forged in the moments when you choose to stay where it is uncomfortable. Again and again, until discomfort becomes just another place you know how to stand strong, guardians of time. That is what those who master mental discipline quietly become. They do not drift through days as if hours were cheap or endlessly renewable. They do not surrender their minutes to the loudest voice in the room or the most persistent notification on their screen. Instead, they stand watch over their time like sentinels guarding a rare treasure, because they understand that every tick of the clock is an investment or a theft, and only they can decide which. Most people never see their time this way. They think of it as something that just happens to them, like weather passing overhead. They speak of time as if they are its victim. I don't have time. Time got away from me. Where did the day go? But the truth is harsher. Time does not get away. We give it away, piece by piece, to demands that do not deserve it. Look at how modern life is designed. Entire industries thrive by feeding on your attention. Apps and feeds are built to be sticky, to keep you scrolling one more minute than another. Advertisers compete not just for your money, but for your moments. They know that whoever holds your eyes holds your mind, and whoever holds your mind eventually guides your choices. This is why mental discipline is not just about what you do when you sit down to work. It is about who and what you allow through the gates of your day. A mind without boundaries is like a fortress with its doors wide open. Anyone can walk in, plant their flag, and occupy your thoughts. To guard your time is to take this gatekeeping seriously. It means you stop apologizing for protecting your focus. It means you look at every meeting, every message, every demand on your day and ask, does this deserve space in my life? Does it build the future I say I want? If the answer is no, you close the gate, gently but firmly. This is not about being rude or rigid. It is about living by design, not by default. The undisciplined mind confuses busyness with productivity. It says yes to everything and wonders why it is always exhausted. The disciplined mind knows that every yes is also a no to time with your family, a no to time with your thoughts, a no to the deep work that only happens when you guard long, uninterrupted hours like sacred ground. Great work, the kind that builds wealth, mastery, and freedom, demands protected time. The artist needs it, the builder needs it, the thinker needs it. Distractions are cheap. They multiply like weeds. Deep, clear hours are rare. They must be carved out and fiercely defended. When you decide to become a guardian of your time, you will feel resistance from the world. People who waste their own time often resent those who protect theirs. They will test your gates. It'll just take a minute. Why don't you answer right away? But a mind trained to stand guard knows that minutes add up. It knows that a day lost to small interruptions is a day you never get back. To guard your time is also to guard your energy. Who do you let into your life? Some people cost you hours even when they're not around. You replay their words, worry about their problems, carry their chaos in your head. Sometimes the greatest discipline is not how you work, but who you choose to stand beside. A single draining relationship can rob you of the mental space needed to build what you came here to build. You become selected, not unkind, but clear. You understand that your mind is not an open pasture for anyone to trample through. It is a cultivated garden, and your time is the water that keeps it alive. You say no more, often, not as a rejection, but as a protection of what truly matters. The quiet paradox is that when you protect your time, you find you have more to give. Your best hours are not scattered among trivial things. They are poured into the work, the people, and the moments that deserve your full presence. You discover that the wealth you build is not just in money, but in depth, deeper relationships, deeper mastery, deeper peace within yourself. In the end, the mind that stands guard over its time stands guard over its life. Because how you spend your hours is how you spend your years, and how you spend your years is who you become. Watch the gates carefully. Decide what passes through. Protect the hours that build your dreams. Be gentle, be kind, but stand firm. For in this watchfulness you become what few ever do, a true guardian of time, and in that, a master of your own life. The power of unwavering presence is the final secret that holds all mental discipline together. Without it, every ritual, every plan, every good intention is lost to the restless pull of past regrets and future worries. Presence is the anchor of the disciplined mind, the quiet but fierce commitment to live here now, fully awake in this single moment where life is actually happening. Most people spend their days anywhere but here. Their bodies go through motions, while their minds wander endlessly through memories that cannot be changed and futures that do not yet exist. They sit at their desks while their thoughts drift into what might happen next week. They speak to someone they love, yet keep one foot in the worries of tomorrow. Even in moments of rest, they are not truly resting. They are rehearsing old stories or constructing new anxieties. It seems harmless, this constant drifting, but it comes at a terrible cost. A mind that is scattered cannot be disciplined. Focus leaks away through 1,000 cracks. Hours slip by unnoticed, wasted in half-hearted work and distracted conversations. Tasks take twice as long because the mind jumps from screen to thought, to memory to plan, never landing fully where it is. Unwavering presence cuts through this chaos. It is not just a state of mind, but a daily practice. The choice to call your attention back again and again to the only place where you have any real power. When you are fully here, the task in front of you becomes clear. The noise recedes. The next right action reveals itself. Presence is not about doing nothing or sitting cross-legged on a cushion all day. It is about doing what you are doing with your whole mind. If you are working, you work. If you are listening, you listen. If you are resting, you rest completely, not with your body on the couch and your mind wandering through a maze of unfinished business. This simple commitment transforms ordinary moments into powerful ones. A single hour of deep, undistracted work can accomplish more than a whole day of scattered effort. A genuine conversation, free from the tug of your phone or your next thought, can heal relationships and build trust that no hurried words ever could. And presence demands honesty. It asks you to notice how often you try to escape the moment because it feels uncomfortable or boring. The mind that has grown addicted to distraction will rebel. It will pull you toward your favorite escape, the endless scroll, the quick snack, the background noise. But each time you catch yourself drifting and gently return, you train your mind to stay. This is where discipline is born, not in forcing yourself to live perfectly, but in guiding your attention back over and over without judgment. The power of presence is not that you never drift. It is that you become someone who notices when you drift and knows how to return. In this returning, you discover a quiet power. You do not need more hours. You need more of yourself in each hour. Most people ask for more time, but waste the time they have by living in fragments. The disciplined mind does not need more time. It multiplies its time by multiplying its presence. Presence also dissolves fear. So many of the things that steal your discipline, procrastination, doubt, anxiety, are rooted in thoughts about what might happen later. When you are fully here, the future loses its grip. You handle what is in front of you now, and when tomorrow comes, you will handle that too. To live with unwavering presence is to realize that mastery is not some distant finish line. It is built in the simple, quiet act of choosing this moment over the illusions that pull you away from it. Every small decision to stay focused, to listen fully, to finish what you start, stacks up to build a mind that does not scatter itself like seeds in the wind. This is the secret that turns discipline into something natural. It stops being about fighting yourself and becomes about returning to yourself. It is the art of living wide awake while most drift through their days half asleep. Those who master presence find that their work deepens, their relationships strengthen, their minds grow clearer. They do not need to force discipline. It becomes who they are. Because a mind that can stay here can do anything. It can resist distractions, build wealth, keep promises, and move through life with a quiet confidence that no chaos can shake. Let this be your final truth. The power you seek is not somewhere far away. It is here, in this breath, this task, this hour. Bring all of yourself to it, leave nothing behind, and watch how this simple act, unwavering presence, turns an ordinary mind into an extraordinary force, capable of shaping time, building discipline, and creating the wealth of a life fully lived. When you step back and look at what all of this truly means, you see it's not about rigid rules or punishing routines. It's about reclaiming what has always belonged to you, your mind, your time, your focus, your life. The path to mental discipline is not some distant mountain to climb in one heroic leap. It is a garden tended daily, a currency spent wisely, a gate kept firmly shut to what drains you, and an anchor dropped deeply into the only moment you ever really own. Now, the illusions that seduce you, instant gratification, easy comfort, endless distraction, will always whisper at your door. They promise ease but steal your potential. They offer relief but cost you freedom. And so, the quiet, often unseen work is to stand watch over your own hours, to plant seeds of small rituals, to lean into discomfort when your old self wants to run. When you do this, day by day, a shift takes place inside you. You become the master of your time instead of its victim. You build wealth, not just in money, but in clarity, confidence, and the deep trust that you can rely on yourself to do what must be done, whether or not the world is watching. Success is never owned, it is rented, and the rent is due every day. Discipline is how you pay that rent, how you guard the gates of your mind, how you decide that your hours will serve your highest purpose instead of slipping away unnoticed. Tend your garden. Spend your time like the precious currency it is. Choose the discomfort that shapes you. Honor the small daily promises. Protect your gates. Be here, fully, with your work, your rest, your life. In doing so, you become what so many only wish for, a mind unshaken by noise, a spirit unmoved by empty temptations, a life crafted deliberately and patiently into real wealth, the wealth of knowing you did not waste the moments you were given. This is mental discipline. This is the secret, and now it is yours to keep, or to let slip quietly away. The choice, as always, is here in your hands right now.